Hello, we are here today to discuss Juicy Fruits, a new release from Capstone Games. We got our guest here with us, Franklin, and Rob. Oh, before you tell us anything,
I can't do it yet, Randy.
Because you got to hit that button
That's
first.
right.
Everybody got to hit that subscribe button. If you haven't done it yet, he can't talk until you hit the button.
And the notification bell, so
Well,
that
you
way
just talk,
you know
so you just
more
defeated
videos coming out.
What I just said.
Right.
He really can talk, but still hit the button. And the notification bell while you're at it.
And now that you've done that, I can talk about this game.
Okay.
So, Juicy Fruits came out this year. It's a brand new release. Like Randy said, it's from Capstone Games, from their family game line, but also from Deep Print Games. It plays 1 to 4 people, and the Board Game Geek rating is 7.4, which I'm a little surprised for a light game. That's a pretty good score. Retails for $39.95. Third-party market's pretty close to that, so it's probably still so new. It's $32 is the cheapest I could find it on the geek market. It's designed by Christian Storr, arts by Annika Heller, and it's again published by Deep Print and Capstone Games.
All right, so looking at the quality of pieces, you get a whole bunch of wooden fruit bits.
Large wooden bits.
Yeah.
I mean, it's definitely a bigger one than you would normally see in a game.
Yeah, and then you've got 2 big player or center boards for everyone. You got player boards that are almost as big, but not quite. The cardboard is really thick, good stock on all of it. It's not thin little player boards. And a bunch of cardboard tokens, similar in thickness.
Right. No bowing on the cardboard, which is good.
And that's about all you
That's
got.
about
Some wooden tokens for markers. It's all pretty decent. I mean, nothing outstanding, nothing that is just wows you, but I'd say probably a 6.
Yeah, I'd say 6 is a pretty good score.
Yeah, I agree with that. Spot on with 20 to 50 minute play.
Yeah.
I mean, if the fruits really oozed juice, I'd give it a higher score, but it'd make a mess.
Yeah, I mean, the time was a little longer for us because we had Miranda, and she decided to have some conversation sidebars during it and explain her life history with her name for her family. As far as theme goes, we've got it's fruit.
Is there a story at all in the rule book about it?
There is.
There is not.
No, there is nothing. There's an object. Each of you has a small island paradise where you make a living growing delicious fruit. Your goal is to gain the most points by supplying ships and adding businesses to your island. That's about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So very much pasted on.
Yeah. Well, the ships look like speedboats, which is what's interesting. So it looks like you're smuggling.
Well, that's the solo
fruit.
player.
It's illegal fruit.
Like, the speedboat fruits, and then the other one doesn't even look like it's barely a boat on there. You can't tell. But yeah, it's light and theme. There's not much there.
Yeah, I don't know. I think at least they'd have passion fruit or something that sounds a little more exotic that you're smuggling out. But yeah, it's
super light.
It's super light. It's definitely layered on, but it's cute. It's definitely
it is cute. I'd say maybe a 6 for theme. It's super light.
What you think, Franklin?
Oh yeah, I'd give it a 7. It was real fun. Ken Fridley is 10+, so yeah, I'd give it a solid.
Okay.
Yeah, it's definitely something that the kids, definitely something the kids. It's very vibrant too. Lots of color.
It's very colorful.
Yeah, as far as that goes into theme too, is the art and the color. I think probably, I think more of a 6.5 is where I'm at, somewhere in between.
Okay.
It's my turn to be Miranda and be in the middle.
Be right in the middle.
Yeah.
So what about the rulebook?
Rulebook wasn't bad. Definitely a step up from what we had earlier in the day. This one was pretty good. It was color coded, but almost unnecessarily to the extent that it was a little bit extreme because it's almost like you got a rainbow of fruit flavors in your rulebook. It was a little too much as far as the color jumping back and forth, I think. But apart from that, it's just lots of colors there. It was sectioned nicely, and it was very clear. There was really no confusion as we were reading through the rule book. It had no cheat sheets, but it really didn't need them. It's such a simple game. It might have been nice to have a little guide to just remind you what all the actions you could take on your turn are, but it was, once you start playing it, it just kind of fell into place. You really didn't need it. I'll probably go ahead and give this a 7.5. It's pretty good.
Yeah. It didn't make me go to sleep, which is a good sign.
Well, it wasn't long enough. It would have been a very short nap.
All right. So how about gameplay?
So the gameplay is very simple in this. Now we played. There's 2 ways you can play it. There's the basic game and then the advanced game, which we played ahead and played because there was so little to the game. We wanted to go ahead and jump right into the advanced.
Yeah, I could not see playing this without that.
Yeah, I don't think it had enough in it if it weren't for that. So basically, you have a 5x5 island grid, which I'll pop up on the screen there.
You haven't summoned it in forever.
All right, I don't know how to summon fruity things. So
you're summoning a board.
Well, yeah, but there should be some kind of like fruit symbols popping up or something. Oh well, I'll just...
You can shoot fruit out of your fingertips.
Yes. All right, so there's a 5x5 island, and you've got starting lakes on there where you're going to place your initial movement tokens, and these are what drive your production of your fruit. You're going to surround the board with boats that you're going to flip over to the side that shows what it's going to take as an order to fill them.
Yeah, there's 2 sides to it. So there's the standard multiplayer, and then on the back is the solo element to it.
Yeah, we didn't play the solo, so we don't know how that one works.
Right, because there's more than one player.
Yeah. Very good.
Thank you.
So you have your island in play, and it's got the 5x5 grid. It's got the locations where your starting production tokens go, and it's surrounded by boats that are going to have orders on them that you have to fill. On your turn, you're going to move your production token any direction you want, as many spaces.
Just one token, though.
One token.
Yeah.
As many spaces as it can go, or you are willing to move it. You don't have
straight
to
line.
It has to be a straight line, no diagonals. So you move it, and you get however many spaces you move, you get that many of the fruit that is depicted on it. Now, there are bonus tokens you can acquire that will potentially give you additional production or give you bonus victory points, which we'll get to in a minute. But the thing is, your island is going to be cluttered at the beginning of the game because the boats are taking up all kinds of space, so it gives you limited movement on your production.
Right, you're basically going from a 5x5 grid to a 4x... Well, it's not even... Is it
3x3?
3x3, yeah. Because you're taking the entire outer loop out of it.
Yeah.
Because of the boats.
So you're going to try to at least free up a few of those boats early on so you can make room for moving your production more to get more fruit to be able to produce. So then after you've done that, you have the option of filling a boat, and if you have the fruit to do that, or you can also, there's business buildings over here that you can purchase, which are also going to clutter your board further, but they're going to give you bonus action abilities or victory points. So those can go, will have to be placed on your board. There's also larger buildings that set off the board that have tokens that represent them on the board that you can acquire the token and replace it with the larger building. But those get a lot of points, but they take up a lot of real estate on your board. So Rob, you went for that strategy and actually paid off for you. You won the game as a result.
Yeah, I was able to score there. It's a 2x2, so it takes up a big chunk of your map. And once that's on there, you can't move your fruit on the map anymore, so you're losing those spaces for generation. But I scored, just between these 2 tiles alone, I scored 33 points.
Yeah. So the other thing that's on here is there's ice cream token stands, which you can use to put on your board, and if you move those, they work similar to the production, but in reverse. When you move those tokens, it allows you to buy that many ice creams if you have the right fruit combination to meet the orders for those. So it gives you another mechanism of scoring points during the game. We never actually
we never. And that would be an interesting strategy where you just go straight for the ice cream and just try and build off, because you can get up to 16 points if you spend one of each fruit.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of points.
So yeah, I mean, it's kind of an interesting mechanism that they give you an option of how to score additional points with those ice creams. There's also bonus tokens in the game that will give you in-game scoring, if you meet the criteria on them at the end of the game. So there's a lot of ways to score on just the basic game. Now, when you add the advanced on, it adds another section to the scoreboard.
To the very top.
Normally, if you flip it to the other side, it looks similar to this scoreboard, but the top is completely empty, but just a picture. So when you play it this way, it gives you kind of a arrow system where you're moving these 2 tokens across the board that can score points, kind of like an assembly line system.
Yeah. Well, what you're making is soda, so you're making fruit sodas.
Yeah, it's kind of a colorful system over there, and that you can block each other along the way. As a matter of fact, Miranda was very agitated with me during the game because I kept standing on the spaces.
Because you get victory points on many of the spots, and if you're on it, then nobody else can score those points until they leave it.
It was almost like a Pavlov's dog thing when I was training her, because I kept blocking her for victory points, and then one time I was just sitting on an empty space where there were no victory points, but she didn't move her token for several rounds because she thought I was standing on victory points. So I was, ultimately you can get down to the end, the points get higher as you go across, so if you get all the way in first, you can get some bigger points at the end, which I was able to do.
Right.
But it didn't net as many points as Rob got with his strategy. It was real close. I was behind you.
2 points behind me.
So all in all, there's a lot of, for this being such a basic, simple game, I was expecting it to be lighter than it was, and it actually had a lot of depth to it.
I agree, especially when you add the soda factory part of it in there. Like I said, I couldn't imagine playing without it, because even though I didn't really utilize it, I always was thinking to myself, do I want to save my fruit to go into the soda factory and do that, or do I want to save it for the business board, or do I want to save it to try and get my ships completed? So it just adds that extra layer that wasn't there before. So I think that's an important piece of it.
Yeah, I think it adds a lot of flavor to the game. I'm glad we started with it, because I don't think we would have felt nearly as interested in this game.
I agree, and I think that it's light enough that I think that unless you're really at an intro level gamer, I think that anybody would be able to pick it up quite easily.
Yeah. I mean, this is definitely a game that I would say a novice gamer could pick up and play. If you didn't, if you played the other side of the board, certainly.
Absolutely.
And this gives you a little way to grow when you're playing it. So I think it's good to have it in your collection for something if you don't have a lot of novice games to play.
I think it's a good point, is that one would be very entry level, and then you feel comfortable with it, flip it over, and it's a little bit more advanced without adding. Basically, you're not adding anything to it. Yeah. You just a little bit extra movement, and that's it.
Right. It's definitely family friendly.
Oh, for sure. Sure.
And it's definitely going to catch, a young one's eyes walking by, seeing all the little fruit. They may try to swallow them, but it's going to attract their eyes. So
overall, what did you think of it so far?
I'd give it an 8, just for the mechanics of it was nice and easy and smooth, nothing too difficult, and the pictures and everything, it flowed pretty good. So, and
another good part is that it was a really close game for the most part. It's like we all stayed pretty neck and neck up until the very end of it.
Yeah. I should point out that the game has a clock, a timed clock on it. It's built in. Every time somebody buys a business, it moves the clock up a tick.
When you maxed out the soda factory, it ticked it up.
That also clicks. But those are the two things. So if people rush to buy buildings, it's going to cause the game to end faster. So, you filling your boats has no bearing on the ending of the game.
And that was, I think, another reason why I was able to eke out a win, was because I intentionally ended the game. Because I actually almost did it turn earlier, but I was like, I think I can get some more and nobody else score a whole lot more. But I intentionally did that because I figured he would go after this one token that be worth quite a bit more points. Yeah. And he would have smoked me if he would have got that.
Yeah, it was really close. 2 more rounds I would have gotten it.
Right.
So, I think it could have gone either way up until that point.
So that's a good tension part of the game, is that you can slow down the game a little bit based off of what you're trying to do in the game, or trying to speed up others.
Yeah. So, I'm right with you with an 8 on this one. I thought it was fun.
Yeah.
It was much better than I expected it to be when I got it. I was thinking it was going to be super light, maybe too
I agree.
Easy.
Yeah, I thought I would have gone a 7, I think, but it surprised me. And I really like the puzzly element of moving your fruit around, trying to get the right amount of fruit and the least amount of movement, so that you can get everything you need as quickly as possible. So it was a good puzzle, and so not many light games like this add that puzzle element that just got a little bit of meat behind it. So I liked it. So I definitely give it an 8.
And Miranda gave her seal of approval to it.
She did. She really enjoyed it.
She really enjoyed it. She couldn't be here for the video because she's about half asleep.
Right.
So yeah, but she definitely did enjoy it and wanted us to make sure we pointed that out.
Yep.
So it was a unanimous decision. We
Yep.
all liked it.
We all like it.
But why are there bananas in it? Bananas aren't juicy.
That's my only complaint is that it's juicy fruits and bananas aren't juicy.
And we had trouble with the tomatoes, which are really not tomatoes; they're pomegranates, but they look like tomatoes.
They look like tomatoes to me.
Yeah. So that's our assessment
Yep.
of juicy fruits. So you should check it out if you like easy games or you just are passionate about fruit.
Or if you just want a good pickup game that's not terribly expensive and easy to learn for you and your family, this would be a game to go for.
Definitely.
It's a good cedar game.
Okay, anyway. So, that's
All right.
it, right?
Yep. So
All right.
until next time, bye.
Bye.
So if you are playing the standard game, you're going to flip it to the time where it's got the orders on it. And you threw me off completely. I was not expecting.